All right, guys, what is going on? Welcome to the live stream. Oh, you know what? The title's probably wrong too. I did not change it. It is definitely not Monday. All right, change the title before anybody notices. Was good, Eric, MJ, Jorks, Arno, Mark. Happy holidays to our amazing mentor slash coach extraordinaire. Thank you, Mark. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you too. Julius, Lewis. Who else we got? I feel like everybody's still on vacation, dude. I feel like everybody's still on vacation. Oh, wow. Was good. Densley was good. Eberneth. Late. Nah, we just started. So, let me tell you 3 things I don't like about today. Number 1, we are in the middle of today's range. Number 2, NQ to me is downside. Number 3, Dow has upside. Okay. So that's what I don't like about today. Long drawn out consolidation up until equities open. We ripped lower, went right back up again, and we just been whipsawing on the day. W for whipsaw, right? But we're about halfway in our current range today, like in the equities today, right? A little bit above halfway. So I don't like this, but I still like, to me, this should trade higher. So I'm fairly bullish on Dow. Fairly bullish on Dow. ES, I don't know. I don't know. NQ. Although I still favor lower, it may not do that. January 1st, everyone starts like the gym. I will not be attending the gym in January. I could tell you that much. Especially the ghetto ones, dude. I gotta stop driving near the... I don't want to be disrespectful, but I gotta stop driving near the pores, man. Too many fucking cops over there. So it got me a couple weeks ago. Or like a week ago. Just breezing through the hood, man. Can't do it. Can't do it, chat. I gotta stay on this side of town. But yeah. So there you have it. If we measure this entire consolidation, it's got plenty of highs, but the highest set and the highest one is at 48,775. So that's why that's there, in case you were wondering. Instead of like marking equities open or these equal highs or London's high or whatever, everything is so close together that once the lowest one gets met, it wouldn't make sense to not trade to the highest one. So that's why that is drawn that way. Let me ask you guys this. Have you started to read how to read a book yet? Book of the month for January. Have y'all started to read that? Yes or no? You know what's super interesting about this book too? I am on page 128. I'm on page 128 out of roughly 340. So about 1/3 of the way, right? So I've read like 1/3 of this book. And you might be thinking, why are you recommending a book that you've only read 1/3 of? Well, by the time I recommended it to you, I had only read 1/4 of it. I think it's that good though. I think it's that good so far. That's why. So even the first 130 pages makes the book worth it. So to me, everything else is just extra. Silver's running today again. Yes, the volatility in silver, whether we look at the futures or like, I think that's Oanda, right? The volatility is absolutely insane. Friday, it was up 10%. We opened about 3% higher. And then from our open to our close, it's down almost 12%. Mind you, this is one day, right? One day. And then today it's up like anywhere from 8 to 10%. So, yeah, this that's why I said yesterday, that's why I told you about that one tweet that I saw that said certain metals buyers might not even be buying metals right now. Or I would get, I don't know if it's true, but I would guess that if they are buying it, it's definitely not near spot. Okay, because back when silver was down in here, like the 21, maybe 30 or less, spread wasn't bad. Like $2, maybe up to like $5 on like the lower end. The more you buy, obviously, the less the spread is. So spread wasn't terrible. I'm pretty sure right now the spread is not 2 or 3 an ounce. The spread probably is closer to 10. Yeah. I don't know if it was somebody in our Discord or somebody messaged me on Instagram. I think it was Discord. They had said something or sent a post about how something with Trump is blocking exports of silver or something. I don't know, Cameron, but there are some definite conspiracies going around, right? Well, here's a conspiracy for you. The Trade House and I have been telling you to buy silver since like 4 years ago. How's that for a conspiracy? How's that? How's that seasonality video from the very guy who brought seasonality to the MLM industry? Ah, how's that for a conspiracy? I don't know. Eric says it comes in tomorrow. Very good. Was good, Roberto. China not selling silver to us starting the 1st, and silver is $90 in China. That's interesting. That is interesting. I don't know. I mean, we have not seen moves like this in forever. I mean, if you look at even a monthly chart, we're going to come back to the indices in a minute, but I mean, even if you looked at like a monthly chart or a yearly chart, right? We've never seen a year like this. Right? But I don't know if I have any tweets from like 2019, 2020. I don't think so. I'm not even going to go that far back and look. Probably not. I'm going to guess probably not, because there was a long period of time I stayed off Twitter. So probably not. But you can see tweets back in 2023. But those ranges are so small. We stayed between 19 and 25. Right? Not really a large range. Last year was solid. 2024 had a nice year. Bro, look at this year compared to every other year ever. It's been absolutely nuts. It's been insane. You know what I mean? Yeah, the chart's broke. Chart's broke. No one could ever call moves like that. Not a soul. Not one person can ever do that. Never have. Never will. Right? So, anyway, you know, what do you do with that? Well, I'm witnessing the same shit you are. I'm witnessing the same year that you are. And we've never witnessed a year like this before. So in a way, this is new for me too. I don't think it's going to stay up here. I think it's going to do the same thing. Maybe not right now, but if you guys remember lumber futures, you probably don't. You probably don't ever look at the shit I tell you to look at. Because you're lazy. But that's okay. Yeah, I think it was I don't even remember where the list is at, to be honest with you. I think it wasn't coffee or natural or orange juice, rather. Hell, I don't even remember what the symbol is, honestly. Let's just look this up manually. It may not that may not be right. Okay. Well, I cannot find it. Because it wasn't any of those. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I can't find it on TradingView. TradingView is a scam. But I think silver is going to do something like this. So if you remember in 2020 and 2021, right? Lumber went from 357, 400 up to like 1600, right? It like 4 or 5x or something. It was crazy. Do you guys remember that at all? Right around the pandemic, and everybody was bitching because people would go to Lowe's and Home Depot right around like 2021, 2022, or 2020 and 2021, and nobody was buying wood because it was so expensive. They were like, we can't build houses, we can't do construction, we can't do shit. It's way, way too expensive. Do you guys remember that? You may not have. That was right around the time oil went negative too. Like oil futures went negative for the first time like ever. I told you about Halliburton at like $4, $5. Anyway, when price sees parabolic movements like that, it doesn't usually stay that way. Just look at commodities histories, any of them. It usually doesn't stay that way. What's fast doesn't last, right? So silver, let me take all my tweets off. If you look at any of our history, right? Do this with every commodity. Those years, that year or two of mega monster movements from 6 to like 46, right? That's a big deal, especially for futures, because obviously the leverage is insane. It's very short-lived. Another year or two and it's down 80-90% or whatever. It's like crypto, but more drawn out. This is a quarterly chart. Okay, same thing in here. Parabolic, massive retracement. Parabolic, massive retracement for like a decade. And from 12, 15 to 70, 80, I don't think this will sustain. So I think it's great that I don't watch TV, I don't watch the news. I mean, if you're seeing like, oh, buy silver here, and you're seeing people line up to buy silver, the fucking top is in, dog. The top, or it's about to be in. Okay. So I've seen videos, let me tell you, not to sound like Trump or anything, but there are clubs out there. There are groups out there. Just like if you buy a car, like if you buy a Porsche, there's Porsche groups out there. If you buy a Corvette, there's a Corvette group. There's plenty of Corvette groups out there, right? If you're a trader, you probably join a trading group, right? There are groups out there that they call themselves stackers. They stack silver. They buy silver coins or small bars or big bars or whatever. And a lot of these guys are posting on Twitter or these Facebook groups, and they're like, hey, silver stackers, like, don't sell your silver. I think that's a terrible idea. I think if you've been accumulating silver at any point ever, really, why would you not take, I would, at a minimum, and this is not financial advice, but at a minimum, why would you not take half off? Or at least maybe a quarter? Why not take 1/4 off? Why would you not do that? Especially if you're in from the 17, 8, anything in the teens, anything below 20. If you have silver below 20 and it's at 70 and you're like, oh, I'm not going to take anything, I'm going to let it ride. Okay, do what you got to do. But I don't think we're going to stay here for very long. Maybe we stay here for months, maybe a year, I don't know. Okay, but not taking partials on a parabolic move is literally the definition of retarded. Okay? If you Google or ChatGPT define retard, it's going to tell you not selling silver at 80 if you got in below 20. That's what it says. Okay, trust me. That's what it says. All right? It just doesn't make sense. But you see, that's how we are. That's how humans are. We hold winners too long, enough to where it comes back, and then we get pissed. Oh, I should have sold. Well, if you knew that, why didn't you do it? You can't ride that high, bro. Not literally, but like the mental high. Man, we're up all this money, all this money. Yeah, and so was Bitcoin and Ethereum at $3 many, many years ago, and then it went back right back to 20 cents again. You rode it up, and you're going to ride it right back down if you do not partial. So, but hey, if it's your silver, you do whatever you want with it. You do whatever you want. It's your stuff. I can't force you to do anything. The only thing I want to actually force people to do is think. I want you to think. Learn how to think. Learn how to read. You know what I'm saying? To stay a sponge, to stay a student, to focus intensely, to learn things. And learn them not to just have them, but learn stuff to then turn around and apply what you know. Wisdom Takes Work by Ryan Holiday. Learn, apply, repeat. That's the title, right? Wisdom Takes Work. Learn, apply, repeat. Exactly. I still hate that he dogged Elon Musk like 9 times, but the rest of it's a pretty solid piece of work. China restricting exports of precious metals in response to U.S. clamping down on U.S. chip exports to China. Oh, okay. So in other words, Trump and the Trump administration fueling the silver move, right? You still think they're going to find a way to bitch about Trump? You still think they're going to find a way? Well, stocks are at all-time highs. Oh, yeah, I mean, they're close. Silver definitely is. Gold is very close to that, too. Almost everything's up. You gonna find something to bitch about there, too? Thoughts on a dollar now the government has lowered the yield for bonds? You know, honestly, with the dollar, I really thought that the dollar by now would be getting massacred. Given the metals this year, given stocks this year. Like, if anything, I think the dollar should have taken an absolute worse of a rip ass than it did. Let's see, December, so January 1st or 2nd is over here somewhere. January 2nd. So the dollar's down like 9.5% on the year. I mean, that's probably pretty bad, you could say. That's pretty rough. But a 9.5% decline in the dollar, and you have like a, what, 20, 30% gain in stocks, almost, what, 160, 180% on silver. You remember that option contract I told you about that was up 1,500%? It's up 2,500%. 2,600%. Because like 6 months ago, I picked, I think it was SLV. I picked some random, like way far out of the money call option just to see like if silver does move parabolically. That contract, because I didn't technically buy it, I added it to my watch list. It was like a $46 contract. Okay. That that $46 contract is worth $1,200. I bought it at, excuse me, I added it to my watch list. Sorry. I added it to my watch list at 46. Today it's up 2,584% at a current price of $1,235. That's crazy. That's insane. Yeah, Karan posted it the other day. So Karan actually did finish ninth in TradingView. They sent him $500. That's who I grew up with as a trader. So he's a solid guy. He should be more popular than he is. But it's all good. But yeah, he's a phenomenal trader. So, but dollar is just, it's trash. Okay? It is absolutely trash. And I don't know what else to tell you. I'm not very great at the macro, you know, bonds doing this, bonds doing that, interest rate this, carry trade, all this shit. I prefer day trading most of the time. So that stuff doesn't really, I don't need it. Stocks are different. Stocks are a little bit different. Matter of fact, Jordan last night, he told me about eBay. I was like, eBay, I haven't watched that shit in a fucking minute. I haven't watched eBay in a long time. But they have highs at 101.15. So this, I think, is a really, really good environment for selling options, selling puts. I know we don't talk about options a lot, but you know what? I would actually wonder if Patrick Kenny would trade this or not. But basically, the idea is selling puts, which means you get the money up front because you're basically underwriting that contract for the people who want to long. Or excuse me, who want to short, sorry. And you're taking the other side of that. So the thing is, okay, if it does go lower, then you end up getting those shares and then you can hold for the equal highs. Or if it does go higher, then you keep the premium on that contract. You make money in either way. That's like the general idea. So I may start trading some eBay. Know what I'm saying? What other questions you guys have today? What else you got for me? As we note, the indice is not really doing a whole lot. What else y'all got? Or do you guys want to end it early so you guys can have a little bit more time to read? That probably sounds good to me. That way nobody can ever say that you don't have time. I don't have time, John. Well, if I cut the stream 30 minutes early a few times, that frees up a couple hours for the month. Oh, is there? Dude, look, honestly, I did not even check Forex Factory before we hopped on. I slept in today. I did not properly prepare for today. Okay, so meeting minutes at 1 o'clock. It's in about 30 minutes. Tomorrow, pre-market unemployment claims. So That makes a lot more sense now. Why we are mid-range and not doing shit. That makes sense. Whenever we do get volatility, though, 48,775 is the highest high in that consolidation. So whenever things get tricky in about, I'll put it to you this way, meeting minutes sometimes doesn't usually have like an initial reaction. Sometimes it just stays volatile for a little while. Affirmations in the mirror? No. A lot of December, I don't prepare for the stream. I turn on, I have 2 ring lights that I turn on. And I put a hat on and my glasses, and that's it. Now, if I was like up on time and actively trading and stuff, then I would definitely go to Forex Factory first. Just to make sure, like, oh, well, if there's meeting minutes at 1 o'clock, probably don't want to be trading during lunch or just in the afternoon. That's one of the laws, right? Not getting into a trade prior to some red folder news is probably not a good idea. So listen, when it comes to affirmations, I'm not really a big fan of them. I used to do them when I was still in the MLM industry. I thought it was cool. I mean, people liked it and I enjoyed it. It also shaved like 5 minutes off of, because I was required to stream for a certain amount of time, and so that shaved off like 5-6 minutes, so it was easier for me. But here's the thing, man. When it comes to affirmations, I think that area of, let's say, personal development or mindset or spirituality, it gets very muddy between pseudoscience and reality. And people start to blend reality and delusion together. And I just don't think that's healthy, you know? There was a oh man, there was a reel from Patrick Kenny the other day. I need to go find it and share it, because he clips this chick who's like, oh, before you check your bank account, tell yourself I am wealthy and, you know, I am safe or whatever. And then he does it and he looks at his phone and he's like, I'm fucking poor. And it's like, that is the funniest shit, because it's so true. I just think affirmations that are lies are delusional. I'm a chairman. Bro, you're not even a P600. You're not even a P1K. You're not a chairman. Where's the affirmation on ethical business practices? Where the fuck was that affirmation? I will not emotionally manipulate single moms into, you know, keeping their membership because I want to keep my rank. Where the fuck was that affirmation? Didn't have those, did you? You didn't see that one, did you? Oh, Christopher. Right? Come on. What the fuck? I knew Jordan would like that. I got convinced that waking up earlier than everyone else made you successful. Instead, I'd be up at 5:30 and still made no money. Roberto, I know we lost a couple of people. I stepped on a few toes today. Ew, fuck you, man. Enjoy your 2026. The problem, Roberto, is I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna meet you halfway here. I can't agree with you that waking up a few hours earlier than everybody else is a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's a good idea, actually. There's less people on the road. There's less noise. And when you start your day early, you can actually get a lot of stuff done. The military was good for that. Okay? Now me, and I'm not typically one to make excuses, okay? But what I can tell you is I don't sleep well, bro. Okay? I have sleep apnea. I don't sleep good. I rarely stay asleep for more than a few hours. It's horrible. It is not great. Okay? So waking up early is like twice as difficult for me. It just is. And again, I'm not making excuses. I did it in the military. I am not doing that shit anymore. Okay? I found a way to fucking succeed while sleeping in. So all that whole you won't be successful if you don't wake up on time, you're a fucking liar. Okay? Now, for the people that it's easier to wake up on time and it's easier to wake up at 4:30, 5:30, then do that. It will help make you successful. It won't make you successful by itself. That's just one piece to the puzzle, but it is also not required. So I'll kind of agree with you to an extent, but I'm going to disagree with you as well for those reasons. You like that, Julius? See, why can't you guys have this much fun while I'm streaming normally? Why do I have to talk a bunch of shit for you guys to have fun? That's why you're really here. That's why you don't care about trading. You just want to clip some wild things that I say. That's why you're here. I know why you're here, Chad. Don't try to lie to me. I think waking up later in the beginning of my trading journey made me have FOMO, fear of missing out. Well, there's moves every day. Final hour is 4 macros. So I don't know. Now, have I missed trades by sleeping in? Oh, you bet your ass. All the time. All the time. Magnesium. I can't even pronounce that. Taken in the evening before bed will help your sleep immensely. Thank you, Mark. You're welcome, Dan. But let's come back for let's rewind for a second. Let's come back to these affirmation ideas, okay? Affirmations that are lies are delusional. You're quite literally lying to yourself. I can't co-sign that. I can't co-sign that. I don't think that is healthy, okay? To tell yourself things that you're not, I don't think that's healthy. That's not reality, okay? I was not arguing, but I was kind of going back and forth with this gentleman the other day. I forget his name. And I don't hate the guy, but he keeps posting and he's like, don't say it's too expensive. Just say, man, I don't remember what the fuck he said. It was something like, don't say it's too expensive. Say, I don't want that right now. Or some bullshit. And I was like, look, bro, if you can't afford it, then it's fucking too expensive. It's too expensive. If you can't afford it, it's too expensive. That's reality. You cannot afford what you want. It's too expensive. That's the reality. Let me see if I can find it. I ended up muting him because, like, he posts all the time. And I'm like, oh, it's right here. It's right here. He said, watch your words. Instead of saying that's too expensive, say that costs more than I want to spend. some of the verbiage we use keeps us in the same place. I commented, I said, well, if you can't have it, then technically it is too expensive. While I do agree that words matter, so does truth. Twisting language to fit a certain narrative, if taken too far, can be toxic. Think doublespeak in 1984. If you haven't read that, get out from under a rock and go read it. We don't want delusion or confusion, but certainly want clarity. So be very careful with reframing and rewording. It can be a slippery slope. Do you guys know what a slippery slope is? Let's do a little bit of intellectual stuff. We're going to define slippery slope. Okay? Not the fallacy, the definition of slippery slope. An idea or course of action which will lead to something unacceptable, wrong, or disastrous. Okay? It's kind of like if you're at the top of the mountain and you start to fall, that first initial, couple of feet, and that's not going to be that big of a deal. But when you keep going and that snowballs, bro, by the time you hit the bottom of that mountain, like, you're crushed. That's what a slippery slope is. So when you start doing these things, like affirming things that aren't real or that aren't true, that's the beginning of that slippery slope, because you're getting into that habit of delusion. That's not good, bro. And we do that shit too when we take trades and we think, oh, well, it's not gonna do this or that, even though it's proving otherwise. You're delusional. The market is never delusional. It's you. The market's always right. It's you who get it wrong. It's me who gets it wrong. So he commented back and said, that may be your reality. Watch this. You thought that was a good reply, Dan? Watch this shit. He said, that may be your reality. But from my perspective, if you are on a path of changing your lifestyle, along with your verbiage, your actions will align for you to attract that which is expensive. By viewing the item as affordable, you're more likely to attain it. He commented again and said, and you're right, truth does matter. So when you tell yourself it's too expensive, indeed, it'll be too expensive. That's your truth. That's where he fucked up. That last part, that's your truth. I commented, there's no such thing as your truth or my truth. There is only truth. Viewing an unaffordable item as affordable is delusional, nowhere near the truth. He said, that may work for you, bro. That's your mindset. Whatever you view something as, it's your truth, whether you accept it or not. Your truth is what is true to you. Simple. I'm not confused on what's meant. I commented, I said, God be with you. And that was the end of it. But that's what we do, folks. We pick a delusion and then we stick to it. For what? For what? It's also in a lot of the books that I read this year. It's in one of Ryan Holiday's books. We would rather double down on a fucked up idea because we're too embarrassed to admit otherwise. Yeah. Yeah. Adding to a losing trade, you're doubling down because you'd rather not admit that you're wrong. Ooh. Come on, dude. And look, I do it too. I don't do it a lot, but I've made mistakes too. Okay? That's what we do. We search for some sort of comfort in delusion and we end up hurting ourselves. This is why I comment on people's posts, because I hope and I sincerely hope that people actually read the comments and go, okay, yeah, that actually makes sense. Living in delusion, that may not be a good idea. You ever seen Shutter Island? You ever seen any psychological thrillers? You ever studied serial killers? They're all delusional. Well, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them are delusional. Don't be like that. That's stupid. That's stupid. So anyway, I say all that to say, coming back to affirmations, telling yourself things that aren't true is stupid. Instead, what you should do, you could try OKRs. I learned about that this year, but an OKR is just, to me, to sum it up, is just a more advanced goal setting system. So like the objective is what you want, and the key results are going to be how you do them. So you could write down, well, I want to be, let's say 180 pounds. Okay, that's your goal, 180 pounds. How are you going to get there? Well, I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to get better sleep. I'm going to, burn calories. I'm going to, do specific things. So you're not telling yourself, I'm 180. If that fucking scale says you 220 or 205 or 190 or anything but 180, bitch, you're not 180. Okay? You need to 180 that mindset. Oh, shit. You like that? All right, enough with the dad jokes. Focus on what you want, sure. But write out the process on how to do it. I want to be a profitable trader. Okay, well then buy low, sell high. Always manage your risk. Take high probability setups. And branch that stuff off from there. I want to use this model. I'm going to trade towards liquidity. This, that, and the third. Hello? I would have you do that instead of affirmations. Okay? Personal opinion. That's all I'm saying. So the pseudoscience, the delusion, I know I've said that like 100 times already, but that stuff is just not for me. I don't see how people like it. I can't get into it. It's not for me. Do you guys have any questions? Any more questions before we hop off? Anything related to anything I just talked about? I'll give you guys like a minute to type anything up. Otherwise, I don't have anything else for you. Meeting minutes is in like 10 minutes. Yeah. Meeting minutes is in about 10 minutes. And then tomorrow's the last day of the year. And then we run right into 2026. Sala says, I hate when people try to use God too, like God will make a way. Again, those ideas, okay, gets into that. I'm gonna say mishmash, okay? Because what people like to do, I really didn't want to talk about this today, but what people tend to do, especially Christians, is take verses out of context. And I'm not trying to hate on Christians, because I've done it too. I've taken certain verses out of context before too. I'm sure we all have done it. Now, a lot of I will say, like Ecclesiastes and Proverbs, they do have standalone verses here and there. Because sometimes it's just like standalone verses. I don't know what to tell you. But other books of the Bible, there's chapters, right? And there is a certain context setting up that verse, right? There's a verse before it and a verse after it. And if you just take that single thing and run with it, you might not be using that properly. In the same way that they clip Jordan Peterson or they clip Andrew Tate and make it seem like they are something that they're not. You know what I'm saying? So, people could say, oh, well, God this, God that. Well, if you're listening to a pastor or a person, because not every person is that preaches is a pastor, okay? If they are not referencing Bible verses or chapters, or at least like the actual book, like, oh, this is in Proverbs, it would be better if you said, oh, well, this is in Proverbs chapter 3. And the best is when you say, oh, well, this is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 10. It says, da 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 da, because that's an actual reference. You can still take stuff out of context, even if you highlight that certain verse. But, you know, people will say anything. Well, God this, God that. Well, if it's not backed by some sort of scripture, then you're just talking out of your ass, basically. And again, that is also delusional. God will make a way. Well, if it's not in his will, then no, he won't. Simple. Dan, I don't use the bar replay tool. I learned how to trade before the bar replay tool was even a thing. So I've never really used it. I've tried a couple times, but it's just not. It's too fast. It's too what is it called? Instant gratification. Waiting 8 hours or waiting a couple weeks for a setup to pan out will teach you a lot more than just going back into replay and then pressing the forward button and watching a trade that took 3 days to pan out in 30 seconds. That distorts our perception of time, and I don't think that's good either. But that's my take on it. But if you like it and it helps you, then don't let me tell you otherwise. All right. Anyway, I feel like I've rambled enough today. We covered a couple of good topics. So yeah, y'all be good. Be blessed. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll put out a market review tonight, obviously. And for the sake of reiteration and teaching with live price, don't forget the 48,775 level is up there for the Dow Jones. ES, I really have no sort of prediction for. I just don't see a lot here that I would like. We have a higher high here and we have a lower low down here like this. I think that sucks. And despite Dow possibly going higher, I would prefer if NQ went lower. But again, I could be wrong. That may not be an engineered low. We may leave those equal lows open in the regular trading hours. It's hard to say, but that's just what I'm looking at. And that's why go ahead, Roberto. That's why I opened up with, as soon as we got to the charts, it's like, hey, look, this is 3 things I don't like. NQ downside, Dow upside, all the indices are in the middle of the range today. So leading up to meeting minutes, I just don't like what I see. I haven't read that book by Kevin Trudeau, so I don't know much about it. And my TBR list is too long. I have enough books to last until 2027, probably 2028, maybe. So I probably won't read it. It's not to say I don't want to read it. I just have so many other. There's a list right here. See that? See that right there? That's part of it. That's part of my TBR list. So. The audio is fire. Yeah, 27. All right, man. Y'all be good. I'll see you tomorrow.